This is gigantic. We're here on Xbox Series X. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a game that I first saw back at E3 2015 behind closed doors. That was a long time ago. And eventually released during that like Xbox One era as a bit of a, Windows, Xbox kind of like exclusive pairing. It didn't really work out. The game kind of vanished, which was a bit of a shame because I actually really enjoyed it back in the day. And then years later, Gigantic returned randomly. And it became a premium offering, which is a bit bizarre considering how competitive the multiplayer industry is, especially for a MOBA-like experience such as this one. So it was an interesting choice. And yeah, it's kind of fascinating to finally be taking a look at this since I wasn't able to initially showcase it back when it first kind of came back. So this game is fascinating in terms of its approach to how you interact with it. So we have this like new game mode, and it takes like, I think the math I'm kind of getting on it is like 4-5 hours to be able to play the actual proper game mode that used to exist back in the day. And yeah, because like if you go to play this, I think most people will probably stop playing before they even get to play the proper regular mode, and your only, exposure to this game is just going to be like a random brawler, basically. And that in itself is such a weird choice to me. Not to mention the horrific matchmaking. Not in the sense of, necessarily lacking as in players at the current point of when we're checking this out. Obviously, there's a bit of a boost. Usually it's kind of dead. But, like, just the matchmaking errors, it could take sometimes literally up to 15 minutes to play, like, not a very long match of this game. And that in itself, to me, is a little killer and a little brutal. Like, for this match, for instance, I had to wait, like, 18 minutes to actually get the lobby going because there's so many like disconnect problems and stuff. It's genuinely bizarre. I don't know what they were thinking and never fixing that aspect of the game. But yeah, the matchmaking in this game, which is something I don't usually mention in review type videos or anything, is really bad. But yeah, basically you'll have no one playing the proper game mode for this because matchmaking errors, plus the fact that it takes so long to actually get into a match and gets, it takes so long to even unlock the mode, which is so weird. So basically, this is your game mode for this game, I guess. Teams will face off with a variety of different heroes that are available. And you kind of earn and unlock characters, which again is weird for a game that's like a premium where it's like, I guess you earn the heroes, as to say, but it's weird that like a premium game that's supposed to give you access to all the characters, you gotta actually like unlock characters, as to say. It's just weird, because like I like the core gameplay of this, I liked Gigantic quite a bit, and this iteration upon it just feels odd. It feels genuinely bizarre. I don't really understand what they were trying to go for. Maybe they were trying to simplify it to get more people into it, but like, yeah, to me this kind of off-put someone that used to play this back when it existed and actually enjoyed it. I don't mind this new style of gameplay outside of the waiting and the technical issues for like matchmaking, but it's not quite what I enjoyed thoroughly in the past. I should also mention this dynamic 4K, 60 FPS, seems to run largely smooth, not really any performance technical problems. Yeah. Oh, and you have to turn on crossplay, I guess, if you want it, and it warns you a bunch or something. I don't know. Probably going to be helpful if you want to actually find matches and stuff like that a little quicker, especially if it dies down. So yeah, the general goal of the game, at least as far as this mode goes, is you're collecting the power through these positions on the map. And then once enough power is collected, you get to take a stab at the other team's Guardian. Typically, you'd attack the heart. And you go back and forth until the Guardian's defeated. If you play the proper mode, there's a bit more depth in terms of, like, maps, and the matches are a little longer and a little bit more dynamic, and there's a little bit more progression to your characters. And it's a lot more proper MOBA like that mode. But yeah, this mode is just like a small Clash Arena battle. I genuinely guarantee you, most people watching this video to consider playing this game, if you do go and play this, you will never touch the proper mode in this game just because it takes so much time. I mean, I'd love to hear from you if you do, but yeah, it's utterly ridiculous. I do not understand what they were thinking there. Our Guardian recovered? It doesn't seem like it. But yeah, it's got a pretty cool visual aesthetic that I quite like. There's a great and vast selection of map options available, which carries this unique kind of cartoon-like aesthetic, which stays true to its original design and style. It looks very similar, just a little better visually as time has gone by. There's still a little bit of simplicity to the environments, I would say, in terms of like depth of details, but you know, it is kind of a backdrop to your fighting. So it does look like something that did come out, you know, it was around like a... actually, I think it was like a decade ago almost. Like, it does look like that time, but they have made it look a little better since, too. So it's really, you know, visual expectations. I think for these types of games, it doesn't matter as much. It's just not on the cutting edge of visual aesthetics, which is okay. And you know, all the different characters have different, like, abilities and secondary abilities and everything like that. So it takes time to kind of learn them, I would say. Like, it takes time to learn the roster. I typically just play as Tito the Swift. You get your little mouse pal, and yeah, that's kind of what I do. And you can earn, or well, I guess buy in-game the costumes and aesthetics for your characters. So that's something if you want to look fancier. And I don't know. It was just... the whole relaunch of this was a weird choice. I wanted to make it, but I'm just like, I don't know. Because it's a bit of a shame, but there is such high levels of competitiveness for multiplayer games these days. You really got to go in with something special. And that's where Gigantic kind of struggles, because like it is special, but like there are so there's more competition now than when this game initially launched, and this game kind of struggled at the time, right? Otherwise it wouldn't have had to be relaunched, as to say. And I do think the premium angle probably wasn't the smartest of ideas to like entice people to come and try it. And I know you can kind of go like, oh, it didn't really work the first time, but like, I don't know, I do think if you are trying to get this game out there, I don't even think there was much of a marketing push or anything. If you are trying to get this game out there, you need to make, you know, enticing elements to get people to at least try it. And I think that's a major issue, hurdle-wise, that this game has to try to overcome. I don't know, at least, oh, that was funny. At least people are checking it out now, I guess, but yeah. I do genuinely ponder the longevity of this kind of game and stuff. And I don't know, it'd be kind of cool to see like a fully sort of offline kind of iteration style, because there's lots of training type stuff. But you know, it would be cool from a long-term perspective if things don't really work out. That yeah, you can keep playing, because like the original version and stuff like that, it's just kind of gone with the wind, as to say. Which is a shame, because like I said, I kind of enjoy this concept. It sort of like reminds me / takes me back to like Fable Legends and stuff like that too. And yeah, just kind of bizarre, the whole situation around this thing. I want the orb power, please and thank you. Like, it's very flashy, it's very stylistic. I think it looks pretty nice, but like, that's what I was saying. It's a bit like weird because you're just doing this. Makes it look like it's just a hack and slash game without any sort of depth, right? And I get that the idea is to sort of build you up into playing the main mode, but I think you'll just kind of, by the amount of time it takes to actually get to that mode, you'll just think that this is the only part of the game that exists. And you'll miss out on the elements of actually, you know, controlling the map and building up to guardian attack and stuff, and it's just an odd, really genuinely odd choice. Are we gonna actually get any attack going here? I guess I'll be the only one that gets in there. I'm trying my best. See, and that's the goal of the game. You know, obviously you saw that we were defending, and then sometimes you get to attack, and it's just like a back and forth until the other guardian is sort of dead. Your whole game centers around these guardians, and they're, you know, protecting or attacking and destroying them. That's the gameplay loop. And it's kind of neat and cool, and, you know, all types of different heroes. Like, there's a lot more heroes and characters and stuff that exist now than I think back when I was playing. I don't remember a lot of these characters that I see out there. I'm like, oh wow, the roster's increased, and like, it definitely seems like they put time into relaunching it with new options, but I don't know if there was oh, that's so bad, the right execution on like how it was delivered to people. And I would have checked it out too when it came out and like promoted and stuff, but it didn't want to give me access or anything to this game, and I was like, oh, alright. It's a bit of a choice. I was like, I would have promoted this because, like I said, I actually really enjoyed the original version, but it's a lot harder to recommend because there's so much work involved in like playing this from like a base level, if that makes sense. Like, you literally, as I said, you have to do all, like, you have to spend hours to even play the main mode, and I genuinely feel like most people that play this and try this will be like, oh, it's just like a weird, silly hack and slash multiplayer game, which maybe some people will like more. I guess it just kind of, I think this mode kind of lacks the depth and the scale that the full kind of way to play this does, and I don't know. Just takes a little bit of the originality of this out the door, which is disappointing to me. But hey, it runs fine, looks good. It's still enjoyable, the characters are still cool. I'm glad I finally got to, like, well, I'm glad I got to play this again. Like I said, I didn't think I'd ever get to play this game again, so it's genuinely fascinating to be back here taking a look at it. Because I never thought I would see any more gigantic. Alright, new lobby. And the battle wages on a new level. Like I said, there's actually a great selection of maps in this game. I did a stream of it and actually played through quite a varied selection of options that were present. Yeah, so they've definitely got, you know, it's got like a nice look, it's got a nice style to it. It's just so hard for this thing, I think, to really find that audience. Like, there's so many similar like games, and I don't know, I love like even the roster of like some of the characters. To me, I've known them for like a while and kind of forgot about them because, you know, this game hasn't existed for quite a long time, which is a shame. You're not even playing anyways. But yeah, just like dumbing it down to the simplicity of this mode, I think is definitely a bit of a mistake gameplay wise, but I don't know, I still find it kind of enticing. I still find it kind of interesting. Oh, you're hiding around your guardian, aren't you? See, I mean, that's the strategy, right? Obviously it worked and got me killed. Which is kind of funny, but yeah, I do miss the scaling level of like complexity to the other mode where things... It feels like the scale of it's a lot more intense, and this is just meant to be quick hack and slash and move on with things. Which is a choice. For sure. Maybe that was the other part of it, was too daunting of a task. for people to learn the regular mode stuff, I guess. But I don't know. I think it's pretty easy to understand too, gameplay-wise, combat-wise. I like what they got set up here. It's mostly down to whether or not people really get into it and whether or not it grows into something larger, but even that I think would be kind of a bit of a gigantic challenge at this point for this game, but you know, you might find it kind of enticing, intriguing, and be like, oh, I'll take a look at this, and play it, and battle, and learn your characters. It's just, I guess for me, it's kind of nice that I get to see this character again. You know, there's a lot of game franchises, multiplayer stuff, you might get attached to certain characters, and you know, the game vanishes, and you just kind of forget about them, but always remember the elegant, stylistic approach in your little mouse pal that seems to have been nerfed to the high heavens, because the mouse thing used to hunt people down and actually finish them off. Now that, like, barely happens. Definitely a lot of interesting balancing adjustments and choices, I will say that for sure. It all works fine though, it's just the matchmaking problems that are kind of annoying and stuff like that, but otherwise it's not a bad take on things. And I do hope that maybe some people that check this video will take a look at it at least and see if you're into it. Yeah. I don't know, art style's there, gameplay's there. Although I would say matchmaking is definitely a hurdle people have to come across, because it's downright annoying. Like, if you're having issues where it's not working, just, like, restart the game. This is the best thing I could say is, yeah, it's weird. Even weirder that they didn't aim to fix that up or anything like that for this presentation of the game, but very, very bizarre. That giant adorable snowman thing looks like it's something from that League game. The League of Legends. Nunu or something? I think it even got like a spin-off game, right? But I love the giant, like, guardian creatures. See, there's like really good ideas and stuff layering behind Gigantic. It's just like sometimes hard for some games like this to really break out and become that big sort of thing. You get what I mean? Yeah, it's a very challenging landscape. But I'm glad they tried. I got to play it one more time. That's what I appreciate. Oh, you're so close to death. You're so lucky your Guardian's here too. Didn't stand a chance there. I'm also doing a bad job of overextending and not like just running away to go back and heal. That's on me and the choices I'm making. And go off my little airship. I always thought that idea was cool too. Just again, like presentation wise and stuff like that. It's got the right stuff. Bit minimalistic in approach. Yeah. A lot aesthetically to enjoy about this one. And lots of different characters now too. Some with crazy gun things. I got smoked. Yeah. Not the smartest of plays, and then good at breakdown. Even the UI and stuff's nice and set up. Yeah, there's a lot to like about this one. Which is why it's such a shame to be down about it in different ways. It's, yeah, kind of sorrowing to play some games and just kind of be like, oh, I don't know about this one. But like so much of it. Uh-oh, someone's gonna be vulnerable. He must defend this area. Oh, and it looks like another server disconnects. This happens a couple times too. Then the whole match just kind of falls apart. It's a bit of a shame. Gives you some time to take a look at all the creatures and characters and stuff though. Anyways, but Gigantic's working fine. It's pretty cool and enjoyable. And, yeah, just a bit of a shame. how everything ended up with this one.